Rock it out now. Yo, you gotta do that dance Michael Jackson did and rock with me. Y'all know what it is. Yeah, rock it out, yo. What's good, everybody? This is Jay from the Open Book Podcast. I know you're used to hearing my wife, Nia, say, "What's up?" And it's your girl, Nia. Right now, she's actually at work, and I'm recording this little preamble to put at the beginning of our episode. Just full transparency, man. It's been a very hectic week. We got a lot going on. We celebrated a lot for Father's Day. We were out for dinner, and then we went around to some cemeteries, and we're finding, like, we typically visit my dad, so we did, and there was some, we went to my wife's grandfather's grave. We went to look for my daughter Juliet's great-grandfather's grave, and we actually found her great-great-grandfather's grave. We visited one of my cousins' grave and my stepbrother. It was really dope. Really dope. We got some good exercise walking around all those cemeteries, finding each spot. But it was a really good Father's Day. As every year, I really just want to be around my children. So it's really dope for me to have opportunity to spend the whole day with them and just pour into them, right? Just spend the whole day focused on family. And I got a chance to really pour into them, especially Juliet, who just turned 18 this year. So me just pouring in, things that I feel like can help her through adulthood, telling her things about how much I believe in her, speaking over her future, speaking prosperity and greatness into her future, telling her who she is, things that she'll need to know as she goes through life and experience challenges. She'll know what she's made of so she don't crumble. It was really super dope. Shout out to my wife for always planning everything and getting everything rolling and having the energy to get us all everywhere we need to go. Shout out to all of my kids for just being dope. But with that said, we did not get a chance to record this week's episode. But again, my wife, being as dope as she is, she came through this morning and was like, "Yo, do you remember, a few years back on your podcast, we did an episode for Father's Day where we went deep into our relationships with our fathers." So I went into the archives and I grabbed that episode. It was from 5 years ago when I was doing a podcast called J. Floyd Speaks Life. And my wife was the third episode. And we really sat down and we got deep. We talked about our fathers, the impact of our fathers on us. So to my wife's point, that's a really relevant topic right now. I know a lot of y'all might have celebrated Father's Day recently. Some of y'all may have had a great one. Some of y'all have, may have some pain around Father's Day. So yeah, sit back and enjoy this episode, this flashback of me and my beautiful wife, Nia. We was a little bit younger, just a tiny bit younger, talking about our fathers. Peace. This is a Father's Day episode. This is a really special one. Usually I set up these interviews with people, but this one is going to be more like a conversation, right? I wanted to really hit the topic of fatherhood, and what better person to have with me to talk about such a big topic than the person that I'm one flesh with. The person who, our experiences with our fathers will directly affect us the most. And that is my wife, Nia Floyd, a.k.a. Nia Narrates. What's going on, babe?
What's going on? Happy Father's Day.
How you living?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing really good, man. I'm doing really good. I'm feeling great about this episode. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
One of the things I wanted to do was kind of talk about a lot of the areas of fatherhood. So I thought, one of the places where, if we have a good or bad relationship with our father or whatever it is, the place where it appears the most is in the family, in the marriage, when you go off and you try to live your own life and then you try to raise your kids and be a father or be a mother. That's where that effect comes up. So I really wanted to sit down and talk about it today, babe.
I think that's a great idea.
All right, so let's get into this. You ready?
Let's go.
You ready to rock?
Ready to rock.
All right, well, let's do this. Okay, so, for me, one of the things I know, and I wrote down this first question, because for me, historically, sometimes big holidays give me anxiety, right? So, it's like, what am I feeling as, Father's Day comes up, the pressures of it, or, what I might have to do. For you, as a daughter, as a wife of a person who is a father, what are your feelings as the day comes up?
So for me, it's really about celebrating you and, really getting with the kids and doing what we do to make the day special for you. We call Uncle just to, wish him a happy Father's Day as well. And then I'll usually shoot off a text or give my dad a quick call. And then that's pretty much it. So I don't really have I think it's exciting because we get to celebrate and, really do fun things for you. But as far as like reaching out to other people and, you hear a lot of people say, oh, my dad, and I'm celebrating. And, I don't have any of those types of notions or anything like that. It's just, my focus is more on you than anybody.
Well, I got to say, for one thing, I really appreciate you. I think you do a great job.
I appreciate you too.
Y'all do some creative things sometimes, man. Listen, there's actually where we are recording right now is in our dining room, and there is right behind me, there's a picture of the kids. And, all three of our kids, and they have I love you, Dad, on their feet. And, their feet are out. And it's like, it was really dope how y'all did that, man.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. It was a lot of pictures. But, I just really kind of let them do what they wanted to do. It was more so them focusing, just make sure your feet stay where I put them. Everywhere else you can do whatever you want to do, but just keep your feet right where they are.
They got the goofy faces and everything.
Yeah, we got some really good shots.
Hey, that's a really good age. The ages where they were was still young enough where, like you said, it was goofy. Everybody played their part and had fun. I love that kind of stuff. So I really appreciate you and the fact that you do that kind of thing,
Anytime.
So let's go back to the beginning. I know you touched on a few things already, but let's go back in our history, right? Let's talk about the ancestors, back to Africa. Now we can't go back to Africa. Although we did get our ancestry thing going on, we still don't got enough info to go back there.
No.
Let's talk about our grandfathers. Everybody, in the line biologically, we got two of them, but do we know them? I know, like for me, my mom's father was out of the picture. Like she only met him one time in her life, and that was way before I was born. My dad's father, he happened to die almost exactly a year before I was born. He passed away. So I didn't really get to see any of my grandfathers, but that would have been a good place to kind of start seeing what his fatherhood looked like. You know? Well, what was your experience with grandfathers?
Well, both of my mom's parents died when she was younger. So no experience there. And then my dad's parents, my mom and my dad divorced when I was probably about 8 or 9, when they separated when I was 7. So I don't have a lot of memories of them. I do remember that going over my grandparents' house, it was very rare, and they had a black cat, and it was a mean black cat, and they always had nuts, and they always had cheese. Always the good stuff.
And it's funny how you remember some like random
just
stuff.
Random. I don't really remember them. I just remember what their house was like. And we would have to go in the back room, and they had this stationary bike with a TV and a bed back there. And that was kind of where we had to hang out whenever we went over there. And that was pretty much it. My grandmother passed away when I was in 2nd grade. And then my grandfather, I didn't have a relationship with him at all. And so he got sick when I was more in my 20s. And he went to go live with my dad for a while before they put him in a nursing home, and he passed away.
Did you get to see that?
I did not. No. No, I didn't. So I didn't really have a grandparents that I could really call on and build a relationship with.
But you have a couple of those mental Polaroids.
I got some Polaroids.
Yeah. Because I mean, when you talk
the
about
plastic
like
on the
cheese,
couches. Yeah, I got some Polaroids.
Or the exercise bike. You know, the crazy thing about them kind of memories, you will never forget that.
No, even now, 37 years later, I still remember. I still remember.
You will be 90 years old talking about the cheese, the nuts.
It was good cheese. You know, listen. I don't know. They had that good deli cheese, and they had all different types. It was delicious.
Did they have the pickles? I know a lot of grandparents always had the pickles.
No, they didn't have pickles. I don't remember them having pickles. They did have a lot of walnuts, though.
What
had
was that
the crackers.
About? Did we stop getting walnuts? Did people stop doing that, or do you got to reach a certain age before you do that?
Why get them home when you can just buy them in the bag? You know, they old school. They want to just sit and kick their feet up and
crack them open.
Yeah.
It was an active snack.
It was an active snack. Yeah.
I'm not into the active snack.
Maybe while they was reading the paper or something. I don't know.
I'm glad we
watching
don't
some
buy them
TV.
like that.
No.
So let's get down to if our grandfathers, we didn't really have that experience. You have a couple Polaroids, which is great. What about our fathers? Our direct experience with Julius Floyd and Dennis Cummings. What was our relationships like and our experience? You want to go first, or you want me to go first?
I can go first. So I was the only girl. My mom.
And that's huge.
That's huge. My mom had 3 kids. My sister had a different father from us. We have a 10-year age difference. And then my brother came first, and then me.
So you the baby.
I'm the baby of my mom's kids.
Yeah.
And then, actually, my father had another child before he met my mom. He had a son. And then him and my mom separated, and he got remarried. And then I had 2 more brothers. So, still the baby. And I don't really have very many memories of my dad.
And still the only girl.
Still the only girl.
That's huge.
I don't have a lot of memories of us being together as a family. I have just like a couple, but not anything significant.
So how old were you when they broke up? What's up, y'all? This is Jay Floyd, one half of the Open Book Podcast. Listen, I'm so glad y'all are rocking with us. We're so glad y'all tapped in to see what we got going on. Me and my wife are so excited about this podcast, but we also got some other things going on. So go out and check us out. We have a brand new coloring book for children, man. One of the things that we want to do under our imprint called What's Good Publishing is publish some books that can help Black culture move forward, be more appreciated. We have a book out right now called Burnt Sienna. That's BURNT SINNA. The book is a coloring book for children that profiles like 20 really, really dope Black historical figures, gives them an opportunity to color them in. Burnt Sienna is the name of a special color that's kind of brown, it's kind of red, it's kind of us. You know what I mean? It's only in the 64 box of coloring crayons. So go check those out. Make sure you got at least get a brown. But if you ain't got brown, make sure if you can go above and beyond brown, go get that Burnt Sienna. Go get that 64 box with the sharpener on the back like we had back in the day. And check that book out. It's really about helping children of all cultures and all backgrounds really have a greater appreciation for Black images and learn a little bit of something along the way, right? Because these are figures that not many schools are teaching about. So go check us out. It's on Amazon right now. You could actually go hit the link directly if you go to what'sgood.work. That's www.what'sgood.work. Hey, let's head back to the show, y'all.
I was about 7. So it was right after my birthday. I had a really big birthday party. We had just moved out to Maple Heights. Maple. As the summer of 88, we moved out to Maple Heights. I had a really big party. And shortly after that, my parents separated. And I actually seen my dad leave.
Ooh.
So it was literally like an argument, and he took some clothes. I guess my grandmother gave my mom a lot of like beautiful dresses that he took with him, and left. I remember that. And then I remember right after my mom just went ham and just working and then making sure she could get the bills and things paid. He kind of came around a little bit, just sporadically. And then as I was coming up, he would come around if we called. So it was more of a, if you need something, call me, but not like
on demand.
Yeah, it wasn't like a formal relationship. I want to come because I want to see you guys type of thing. It would be like the visitations because, of course, that was in place.
Yeah. But
it was a lot of times where we sit in the driveway with our suitcases, just kind of waiting for Dad to come late nights. But we did have some times where we went over there, and my brother was more so interested in going than I was because it was just kind of weird for me. This is new family, this new woman, these other kids, and he married someone where she had a son, and then they had more together. So it was just a little awkward for me. So I really wasn't kind of interested in the whole going to see Dad thing, unless it was kind of like a once or twice a year he would come by and kind of hang out for a little bit.
Now, this is one thing I want to that you mentioned is that with you being the only girl, and then there's boys, and then there's more boys, and then there's your dad. It's like when your brother wanted to go over there, maybe it was because the environment was more his vibe, and there wasn't a lot of concessions made to make it feel like a place where you wanted to be.
No, I was not interested, like at all. I just didn't feel. I didn't want to go. Yeah. I was very clear with my mom about that. And she was very, that's your decision. If you don't want to go, then you don't have to. So I didn't know. I didn't go. And, the funny thing is my sister says, it's so unfortunate that you and your dad don't have a closer relationship because he was crazy about you when you were a little girl.
Wow.
He always wanted a girl and he was so crazy about you. So it almost breaks my heart to kind of see that you guys don't have a stronger relationship than what you do.
How does that make you feel to hear that?
It's a little sad, because it's not like it's lack of effort on my part, but it is what it is. Yeah. Some people you just got to meet them where they are and love them from a distance.
Have you been able to do any work to really like sit down and just kind of really say, who is my dad and why would he be like that, to try to understand him and his shortcomings?
So I want to say it was right after we got married because my dad was a part of our wedding. Him and my mom walked me down. I wanted to give him the opportunity, even though he wasn't there. I still wanted to give him that opportunity to be able to walk me down. So it was a shared walk.
And it was a great day.
It was a wonderful day. Yeah. He came around a lot more after that, especially after Honor was born. And he really kind of told me stories about how him and my mom met and when they separated and him and his childhood and growing up. So I got to learn a lot about who he was and kind of understand some of the decisions that he's made. And I think that really kind of changed my thought process on how I viewed him. Yeah. Yeah.
So what is it like now? What does it feel like for you now?
I love my dad. I don't see him often still. I mean, it was a point last year before, we would just kind of pop up over his house because,
yeah, the surprise.
It was like, we don't really know. You just kind of pop up over there just to kind of see him. That was back when he was working. We would just kind of pop up over. He's retired now, but like I've seen him quite a few times this year, and I always shoot him a text or try to spend some time with him.
I think it's dope that you set up some time and schedule time to go do things that he likes. You reaced out to go do bingo with him and stuff. My dad is an
avid bingo player, so I realized that. I'm not going to get those kinds of calls. I'm not going to get those, hey, I want to come over and see you guys. Yeah. That may never happen. It hasn't happened and it may never happen. And so that's kind of my cross. I have to be able to understand that And one of the things I also notice is that when he does come around, he's really nervous.
Yeah.
And so, I just really try to love on him because I don't really know where he is mentally by coming over here and spending time with us because he doesn't see us that much. He has grandchildren. He has a son-in-law. He has, this daughter that he didn't really get a chance to spend much time with. So I don't really know how he feels when he comes here. So I just really try to love on him and make him feel welcome. But it's usually by invite. And so, I just really try to just extend myself. Sometimes, I kind of feel some kind of way about it. I kind of feel like, why do I have to put forth all of this effort just to see my dad? Yeah. And then I'm just like, you know what? He blessed me with one father. And, I'm supposed to honor him, whether I want to or not, whether because sometimes it's really just about having grace. And sometimes I don't feel like it. Sometimes I'm just like, you know what? No, I should have a dad that calls me. I should have a dad that wants to come see me and be present in his grandkids' life.
You have every right to feel that.
But at the end of the day, that's not what I have. And I still love him because he's my father. And I think that deep down inside, he wants to do those things, but I don't know what is going on with him. Yeah. And so I'm gonna love him from afar. And, on those times where it's like, hey, I want to see you. I want to, spend some time with you. We'll do that. We'll go and we'll schedule time to see him. Yeah. And, just do that. I remember when I told him that we were getting married, he told me that, and this was after we got married when we sat down and talked, and he told me, he said, it messed me up to hear that you were getting married because here it is, I'm supposed to be the person that you fall in love with first, and I've been gone for so long, and you'd have met somebody and you'd have found that love, and I didn't even get a chance to show you what that looked like. And that hurt my heart so much because it's true. Yeah. But, in the midst of that, I'm thankful to God for placing such an amazing person in my life to give me that love, to love me, and fill those gaps. And, just God's love fills those gaps. So, I thought I just was like, wow, okay.
I think that's a word, man.
Wow.
That's really good. I think that's a testimony to forgiveness. Yeah. I think you do a great job with it. I like the fact that you said, I should, or I wish I had a parent like blah, 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 but I don't. I have this. So it's like, I think that's something a lot of people can take note to because they feel the same way. We can sit and harp on what we coulda, shoulda, woulda, wish we had. Yeah. But we got what we got.
My moments, but at the end of the day, I'm grateful for what I have. And I'm okay with that. It's about boundaries and setting those boundaries and not, you got to be comfortable with where you are before you go reach out to people and, meet them where they are.
What does that look like to have some boundaries? I know that's something, we all struggle with boundaries. Like, what does that look like though? How do we do that?
I don't know. I guess maybe it's easy for me to do it from afar.
Yeah.
Because when I see him, it's all love, and it's kind of like a bittersweet thing. Cause it's like, man, I feel so good hanging out with you and being here with you. But, sometimes it's kind of like, okay, so when is the next time this going to happen? Like, okay, am I going to talk to you in another month or so?
One thing I noticed, and I think you touched on it, and I think it's really kind of pertinent to the story is, you said when he comes around, he's nervous. Mm-hmm. And, he also is not nervous to talk to me.
No.
Or to talk to dudes, to talk to Speed or talk to somebody else.
Or even my brother or maybe not even his kids or my sister.
So I think, and like you said, maybe, and like you said, your sister alluded to is, you're his only girl. I wonder if he has feelings of inadequacy, of not being good enough, you know what I mean? And maybe he feels nervous. I don't know how to do this. Maybe. How do you parent a girl? Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he feels, maybe that's the root of that nervousness, I wonder.
I don't know. Maybe, one of the things that I'm always conscious of is to make sure I give him a really big hug and tell him I love him and that I'm so happy to see him and I'm so happy he came. And I do that when I see him and when I leave. Yeah. Just to let him know, like, everything that happened, all of that stuff that happened, let's just really celebrate this moment that we have together, because
I love it.
we can move on to the next. I don't know if I'm going to see you tomorrow. So let's just celebrate what we have right here, and let's end it on a good note. And, let that be our last memory together. So that way, if we see each other again next time, we can build a new memory. Let's build these memories now. Let's not focus on all of the stuff that happened back in the past. Because granted, it's built me, it's shaped us both, and has a lot to do with how our relationship is. Because there's times where we see each other and we don't have much to say, but we're spending that time. And, maybe next time we'll have more. There'll be more for us to build on. So just being intentional.
You said something real powerful. You said it shaped you. How do you think that affected you relationship-wise?
Well, I mean, not having your dad around, there's a lot of rejection in that, especially if you're reaching out and there's, I'm not getting a reach back.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of rejection in that. There's a lot of no trust. I have no trust. I don't take you for your word. I don't believe you. You got to show me.
Yeah.
Your actions need to show. Because, you could say.
You got better. But when we first met, it was like, bruh. But no, isn't that the story of a lot of women, though? Isn't that?
I'm saying, no. Your father, you have that love from your mother, but your father is the first person that's going to show you what a relationship, what type of man you potentially want to be with when you get older.
Give you a sense of protection.
Give you that security, that they give you all of the things, the characteristics that you want to hopefully see and find in the person that you grow up to marry. And I didn't have that. What I did have was what I didn't want. Okay, so I know that he said he coming and he ain't come. So I gotta have somebody who gonna be strong on their word. All right. So I don't want no liar. I don't want nobody that's gonna cheat. So it's so many levels to that. And so I wasn't looking for somebody like my dad.
You had the negative list.
I had the list of I ain't what I want.
Yeah.
I ain't looking for somebody like my dad. I'm looking for somebody that is going to love on me. And that doesn't have a face.
Yeah. That's powerful, man. And I think I've touched on this a couple of times, with me and my father. My parents got divorced right around the same age. I was 5, except they split up when I was 2 months old.
Yeah.
So I never really saw them together. They just went through that whole, a lot of couples just take a long time to actually get divorced. What I mean? That's what my parents did. It was like, this is over, but let's just linger on it for a while before we really put the papers in.
Right.
So when they really got divorced, usually, and the thing that I've seen, I won't say usually, but what I've seen a lot is the divorce happens when the dude's about to get remarried, which is what happens for my dad. They just split up, went their separate ways. And when he was ready to get remarried, he had to go ahead and finalize that divorce so he can do it. And, for me, my mom was a really, 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 I'm trying to think of the vocabulary word that fits in. I mean, a firebrand. She was she's a firecracker.
She's a piece of work.
Piece of work. Like how certain people that's like the last one you want to cross. That was my mom, and so he crossed her. And so, bitter divorce, so she was out for blood and vengeance. And, at the end of the day, me and my brother kind of suffered because, every victory that she got caused, my dad to be further away from us, So, growing up, my dad wasn't around, but it wasn't because he didn't want to be. And I didn't know that until I was older. It's not like my mom was like, your father don't want to see you. But it was, as you're young, if somebody don't really explain it to you in a really good, loving way, how are you supposed to know? All you know is you don't see your dad, period. So I just felt like I'm one of those fatherless people. I'm one of those people who don't see their father. And I'm one of those people whose father is not there for them, even though my father would have been there for me at every turn had they not been going through such a rough divorce and him having so many roadblocks to that, So when I got to be an adult, my mom, actually as a teenager, I started making some decisions that my mom didn't really like. Like I got the child support cut off. My dad was like, hey,
you turn this thing off.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll give you anything you want. That was his big thing. Just don't take from me.
Right.
I will give it to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I did. At 16, I was like, let's turn this thing off. Let me see. And he was a man of his word. And it was like, man. So it started giving me a glimpse of, if I open my heart to this man,
right.
Maybe I can, have something after all. I can have what everybody else got that I'm so jealous of. So, by the time I was in my 20s and then finally to my 30s, I really opened my heart to him, and we got a really good relationship going on. And I made the decision, with the help of the Holy Spirit, because it was not just me. Yeah. I was not mature enough. The decision was made to really just look at him as my father only. At every opportunity I gave him, what did he do? And only judge him on that. I couldn't judge him on that whole stuff would happen with my mom, because to this day, I'm 43 years old, and I still don't know.
Yeah.
Everything that happened. All I know is they got divorced. I don't know, because it ain't really my business at the end of the day, because I can't figure it out. All I can do is judge them on what happened with us. And when it came time for him to be a father, to me personally, he was an A+ father.
A+. Yay, Daddy Floyd.
Exactly. So I kind of got, two sides of it, and I got a little bit of healing. He passed away when I was 34. Actually, when we met.
I did not get a chance to meet Daddy Floyd.
Yes, the week that we met, my dad passed away on Father's Day.
Yeah.
Which is it was rough. It's rough, but it's only as rough as I give it the power to be rough. You know what I mean? So it's just, he passed away on a day. It just happened to be Father's Day, but hey, it's Father's Day, so I'm gonna celebrate him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And shout out to you, because you always suggest that we go visit Pops.
Oh, we going to see Daddy Floyd
at the cemetery every Father's Day.
We taking the kids. We going. We taking pictures.
Even when it's been very rough for me, you still suggest it, and it's always a great visit, and I really appreciate that. I know when we met, your struggles with your dad was a topic that you did not want to.
Closed door.
You didn't want to go there.
Don't touch the knob. It's not happening.
Man, don't bring it up. We ain't talking about it.
Next subject.
But you did let me in a little bit and let me talk about it. And not only that, you were there. It's not like you was just closed door on father stuff. Because then you turned around and was there at every step for me, even pushing me to really get some real healing. And I really appreciate that. And that's one of the reasons I wanted us to talk about fatherhood, because, all these struggles that we go through, and everybody that's listening, all the struggles we go through, they're going to affect us. And they're going to really hit home when it comes time for us to try to get it right ourselves.
Yeah.
Try to get married, try to have families and raise kids. All that stuff start bubbling up, man. And you got to really seek some healing.
Yeah.
You got to seek God. You got to let the Holy Spirit work on you. You got to seek counsel. You got to go to therapy. You got to talk to some people who done been through it. You know what I mean? Reach out to your peoples, because God placed people all around us that can help us out with this kind of stuff, man.
He absolutely does.
So again, shout out to you, babe. I love you.
I love you too.
And you
Thank
did
you
really
for
great.
being open to that, because it's it's one thing to say, hey, let's go visit.
Yeah.
The cemetery.
I was willing. I won't say I was extremely open. Some of it I was like, oh.
But you went.
Yes.
You could still feel like, hey, I don't want to celebrate Father's Day.
Yeah.
Even though I'm a father, I don't want to celebrate. That's not a good day for me.
Yeah.
But that's not what you do.
That's
we
true.
go and we take pictures, and you have your moment. The kids have their moment to really talk.
Yeah.
And spend time. And it's a good day.
And listen, I want to shout out, just encourage anybody out there who's looking for their mate. When you're looking, man, do not, men, women, don't just look for the person that puts you in a comfort zone, a person that gives you what you've always gotten. If you're getting something that's kind of pushing you to get better, talk to God about that. You know what I mean? And try to get some clarity on it, because I know for me, a lot of the stuff that we went through, you were pushing me out of my comfort zone.
All the way out of your
And I
comfort
ain't like
zone.
it. It wasn't fun.
No.
But it was
is.
the best for me. And I wouldn't be who I am had you not done it. You know what I mean? And had I not been open to receive it. So listen, God knows what he's doing when he puts us together with people. I think a lot of times we ruin it and we run away because we don't want to get pushed out of our comfort zone. But God don't want us in the comfort zone, man. Listen up, y'all. All right. So we're going to get into a couple of things. The last thing, we talked about our grandparents. We talked about our fathers. We talked about how our fathers have affected relationships and marriage. What about parenting? How does that affect how we approach parenting? You know, and I know we have I won't say a unique situation. It's actually probably the more normalized common situation in that we have a blended family. And it, you know, so when we met and got married, I had a daughter from a previous relationship. And so, you know, that throws an additional challenge into, you know, being a family and building those blocks. And so on top of us having issues from our fathers, good and bad experiences that we bring into it, you know, then we have to start to, how do we build and let God move us past this generational type thing that we got going on, which a lot of us have going on with blended families. But so how do you think your experience with fatherhood in general, as you grew up, as you were shaped, like you said, it shaped you, how did it affect how you approach parenting or overall in our family?
So I think that, you know, with me not having my dad around, it really highlighted my mom more. And my mom was not easy. She still ain't easy, okay?
Yeah.
She ain't no joke, okay? So, you know,
she's a little old school.
She's very very old school. Her mind frame is, you need to struggle. I'm gonna show you.
Yeah.
You get that one good time. Then after that, you need to figure it out.
Yeah.
Don't come now. You working now? Oh, okay. So you go ahead and get out there and you can buy all your own clothes and everything that you need, because you don't. So I learned early to figure it out, and I learned to really not depend on anybody. So
is that a plus or a minus?
it could be both.
Yeah.
It could be both. I think that it was both for me. It was a plus for me because, you know, I knew how to get out there and make it happen, and, you know, and find me a job and work and pay my bills and really be good with budgeting and money. You know, but it was also, when we got married, it was a minus because it was like, okay, I can take the trash out. I can, you know, we about to buy this thing and I'm gonna put it together and fix it myself. And, you know, I don't have to really let anybody in because, you know, I'm really so used to being closed off and handling everything on my own.
I'm not going to let you in emotionally.
I'm not going to really do that.
Show my vulnerability.
Because I don't have to. I don't have to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
You know, I'm so used to being on my own and, you know, not having to put those emotions out there. So yeah, I mean, it's both, you know, really having to compromise and being vulnerable. Vulnerability is still something that I struggle with. It's still something that I struggle with our kids. Just because, I mean, I didn't see vulnerability when I came out. I want to say that I only seen my mom cry maybe once. And that was only because we broke something. And she just got home from work. She was tired, you know, and she was like, I can't, you know, so it wasn't like oh my gosh, I'm, you know, like it was a frustration.
It wasn't, I'm struggling through something.
No, it wasn't. No, my mom was a hustler. She had all kinds of jobs. So I got to see that. I saw her work.
Yeah.
Her work ethic. So, you know, I think for me, that's kind of what it's been, you know, with parenting, is really trying to be vulnerable with the kids. And, you know, really, I think that I try to pour into them a lot because, you know, with my mom working all the time and my dad not being there, I didn't have that at home. You know,
that's really insightful for me, because I do notice that you do that.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what the driver of that was.
Yeah, I didn't have that. I didn't have, you know, stuff that happened in school, or, you know, that wasn't like, I'm not coming home and telling my mom about that, you know. I just kind of, I would talk to my friends. And if I didn't have my friends to talk to, I'd talk to my sister, or I didn't have anybody to talk to about it. So, you know, I wasn't trying to burden my mom with my problems, knowing that she had all of this work and she want to come home and she just want to kind of wind down. So I really just try to pour into my kids and really just let them know that I love them, and, you know, that we can talk. I'm here. We can develop that relationship, because I feel that it's really important to give that to your kids, and, you know, have the memories of the first day of school and just have those things that they can look back on. And it could just be because that I didn't have those things. We took a lot of pictures, but some of the things that like my dad wasn't there for graduations. Any of my graduations, wasn't there for my proms. He would buy me something to wear to it, but he wasn't going to be there for it because he had to work.
Yeah.
And he wasn't about to miss work for that. So really just pouring into them that love, I guess essentially that attention that I didn't really get.
Wow. That is, that's why I'm really glad we did this show, because that's really, I'm learning things about you as well. And learning things about us, and it's making sense to me. For me, I would say parenting, in my experience, it was more of the lack of my father's presence that kind of affected me in the way that I parent, in the fact that, my dad moved on and got remarried, and we didn't see him a whole lot. I was with my mom. I was completely attached to my mom. I was mama's boy to the 10th degree. And my mother was what they call an oversharer.
Yeah.
So she shared all of her vulnerability, all of her thoughts, all of her emotions. And, that leads to what I now know is emotional incest, where you have a relationship with your children and communicate things and thoughts and feelings to them that you should be talking to a confidant about, or your new boyfriend or your new husband about, and she shared that stuff with us. And what happens is you become their emotional support, because the kid don't want to see their parent broken like that.
Right.
They want to save them.
Right.
Right. So especially for when a woman does it with boys, the boy then becomes, his mission is to save his mom. So when he grows up, he develops relationships that are looking like they're saving their mom type person. You know what I mean? That's why it's an unhealthy thing, And even in parenting, what I try my best to grow out of is to have that type of relationship with our kids, where I'm oversharing or having building a thing where they have a sympathy for me and what I'm going through. That's something that you don't want to do. So I always try to check myself to see, man, I don't want to make sure I don't approach this in the way that goes into that territory that my mom did. You know what I mean?
I think you do an excellent job at that, because I don't think
much.
I've ever seen or witnessed you do that.
Yeah, I think I was probably more prone to it when I was younger, and my life turned around the day that I sat down and said, what's wrong with me? And why am I in this situation? Not why did all of this stuff happen to me? Why are these other people doing? No, what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
And how do I go about fixing it? And that was really the moment everything in my life started to shift.
And, I really have to commend you for that, because a lot of people just kind of go through life thinking that it's something wrong with everybody else.
Yeah.
It's not. I'm about to go see what's wrong with me and how can I get healing so that I can move past this. It's like, these people around me just got issues. It ain't me.
It's always something else. Always somebody.
Deflect.
But no, it's, raising children is a challenge, and we find ourselves in these challenges constantly, every season, every month, every week.
Yes.
It's something new, we try our best to, keep a Christian blueprint, keep the word in our marriage and in our family and do our best, but it's challenges constantly,
Yes, it is.
And the way that our fathering affected us is always going to be a stumbling block, but it's not the end of the road. God reaches in and says, I can heal all of that because I am your heavenly Father. I am the ultimate Father. So I can heal all of that. And I can even show you how what happened was a blessing and not a completely bad thing, So I think that's the really beauty of it, because God will turn all of that and be like, let me show you how it all comes together for the story that I already wrote for you.
Yes. Yes.
That's the beauty of it all.
Thank you, God, for that. Yes, indeed.
So we coming up on the end of our segment, man, and we just have a couple of questions. And I think some of these are going to touch on some topics that we already hit, but we still want to shout them out because I asked on Facebook for some questions. And shout out to Charvez, who gave us this quick question. VZ. She said, I didn't realize until I was an adult how my father's friendship versus fatherhood affected me, in the sense that he never made me feel precious and protected. He just made me a cool ass rollie. For both of you, what is an example of some things in your father relationship that shaped your adulthood that you have had to forgive or reconcile? Whew.
I think just not having a relationship in general has been what I've had to forgive and really reconcile with myself. Because, I would have just wanted to have, instead of it being, okay, I'm over here to go take you shopping this one time a year that I come over, it'd be, come on, let's go for ice cream. And you tell me about how life is and what's going on. Or let me call you once a week and chat with you. So I would have enjoyed to have that.
Yeah, your father's taking notes out there.
I forgive my father for that. I do.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And for me, I think the same thing, not being there, because, as a kid, I kind of put it on him. And, I was actually blessed with an experience where my dad got sick for the first time in his life, and he was in the hospital for a day. And I went out and stayed in the room with him. I pulled up the cot next to his bed. And, once the nurse came in and shut the lights down and everything, he just started talking, man. And he told me about my entire, my existence. How did I come to this world, man? It was like, and I remember, because he called my mom Dorothy instead of your mother. He always said your mother.
Put a name to her.
Yeah, that day he said Dorothy, and I looked over and I saw that he loved my mother.
Oh, absolutely.
And
he absolutely loved your
and
mother.
that changed my life. I never, ever thought about that. Never even pieced together that my parents had love.
Such a gift to you.
Yeah.
For him to do that.
So that moment, I won't even say I had to forgive or reconcile, man. The Holy Spirit put me right in that situation and was like, look, just look and watch and see the clarity of where you came from. And so, it changed me. All right, so we got another question from my man, LS Royal. LS sent he sent 17 questions.
We love you. Thank you, LS. Thank you so much.
That's my man's though, man. I love LS, man. So first one, he said, do you feel the negative stigma about fathers is changing? Whew. You want to hit that one?
I would say no.
Yeah.
The only reason why I would say that is because I still see I see in the community of the older men that there seems, especially like people that we're friends with, that they're very they try to celebrate one another. They're really pushing people into like fatherhood initiatives and really trying to build them up. But I want to say maybe with this younger generation, it's still no, I don't think so. I think that a lot of the times they're still in a position where big mom is going to take care of the kid. Yeah. They're going to step in and do what they can and really take that away from the father. Because one, he don't want to be bothered, or two, he's not really in a space to he doesn't have the wherewithal to do it.
You know what? I want to just piggyback on something you said earlier, where we talked about you being the only girl that your father had, and the different approaches and how he was much more comfortable with the boys, with the male children. I think that one of the things that we do a disservice with our kids is that whole treating, so different, and with girls, it's like we're so hard on them. They got to be so perfect. Don't make no mistake. Don't go out here and get pregnant. You ruin your life and do this. When it's like, when a dude go out, could go to prison, get a couple girls pregnant, and we throw a party for him. Yeah. It's all good. Boys will be boys.
Boys will be boys. And grandma, mom, somebody's going to step
in.
To take care of it and make sure everything is okay.
But when the woman makes those kind of mistakes,
because the baby stays. Yes. It's a completely different story. It's a different type of impact.
Ain't nowhere to run.
No, you have this baby that you're raising, And everybody's impacted by it where, you know.
And they're going to put it right in your face. They're going to hold you to it.
The men they're not held to that type of responsibility. Now, granted, it's a responsibility for both parents because they both from jump came out and said, hey, we've connected. So the moment that she says, hey, I'm pregnant, Dad, you've stepped into that fatherhood role from jump, not when the baby gets there. Once the baby's been conceived, you are father.
Is that a problem society-wise, community-wise? Like, because, I mean, I've seen women be like, hey, can you watch your kid tonight? A father being with their kid ain't watching them.
But, I mean, what is it? What are they going to call it if they don't see him? Now, I agree that you're not watching your kids. You're spending quality time. But if you only spending quality time every 6 months, once every year, I can't catch you. Now, on the flip side, let me not say that it's like that for all men, because there's some men out here who really want to spend time with their children, and they don't have the opportunity to do that because maybe the mom's being petty or something's going on where they're really trying to do what they can do to get their kids, and that's not happening for them. Yeah. So I think there's just a lot of obstacles. There's just a lot of obstacles. And you know, until both parents want to step up and be parents, whether you're in a relationship or not, because that's not the kid's fault. Yeah. Then it's just going to always be a challenge. It's always going to be a challenge. I agree with you.
You know, I want to...
How do you feel about that, babe? What are your thoughts on it?
Man, it's really a tough one in that, you know, in this society, it's kind of commonplace like that. And I do think that I would like to say it's changing because I do see some very vocal fathers stepping up. I see a lot of blended families, you know, fathers and stepfathers dapping up and taking pictures and stuff. I think the blended family situation has taken a step forward. I think people have, you know, are starting to learn how to navigate that thing because it's not so taboo and hidden no more. You know, so now there's more out. I think people are getting more mature about it. But I do agree with you. The younger generation of parents still got that thing where it's like it gets dumped on the mother. The father kind of gets the skirt, you know. And I was kind of just talking about this on Pinpoint Your Perspective last week is the mommy got nowhere to run, man. No. The dad be gone, man. Yeah. Dad be out, man. And so, you know, that's one thing. Hopefully the young brothers, man, and you know, I build with a lot of young cats, and I got a lot of hope for them, man, because you know, I got a lot of hope for them.
Absolutely, I do too, because it definitely can change.
It absolutely can. All right, now this one is a unique one. He said, "Do you see a balance in the son and daughter relationship, or is one more important than the other?" So, from a father, is that more important for the son or for the daughters?
I don't think that there should be I don't think it should be an importance placed on one or the other. I think they're equally important. You know, the daughter needs to know who her father is so that she can learn the things to look for. She needs that love. For both children, their parents are the first one to show them what love looks like, and they need it. Now, granted, they may need different things from it, but they both need it. So I think that the daughter needs to be able to see, hey, I have this man that she has to grow to love, you know, because she loves mama when she come out. Yeah. They automatically attach to mom. Yeah. So they have to build this relationship with dad.
They gotta meet that dude.
Being able to have that and walk in that as they grow to kind of develop those things and learn what it is that they're looking for when they get older. What they need to watch out for, you know, have that security that they need. And then for our young sons, they need to be able to see what a man looks like, what it looks like to love on mom, what it looks like to, you know, be responsible and do things around the house, and grow into the man that you're going to be. So I think it's important from both ends. I don't think that it should be an importance one or the other. I think that they both need it.
For me on this one, I'm going to go ahead and say what a great husband knows how to say. I agree with my wife 110%.
But do you agree with me? No, don't say that.
I do. I agree with my wife 110%.
And I'm saying if you
Completely.
don't agree, you are hilarious.
But I do though. I think everything you said is on point. There shouldn't be a difference. I think as we touched on in the previous question, we got to stop with this whole, girls this, boys that,
Yeah.
It kind of ties into another question from LS where he said, do you think chivalry do you think it's a religious, spiritual, or societal act? And is it needed from fathers especially? And, that kind of reminds me of the whole like daddy-daughter thing, take them on dates, take them to dances. And, I've done that kind of stuff and I do that kind of stuff. I think I personally do it though, because I think it's vital that each parent maintains a unique relationship with all the children.
Yes.
It shouldn't always be the parents taking the kids. Sometimes daddy got to be with the kids or each kid. And sometimes mommy got to be with the kids or each kid. I think that's just the way it should be. I don't really look at it as extremely a chivalrous act. I think chivalry and manners are all in the same thing. I think that those come from how you actually get down. So I think for me, taking the girls to the daddy-daughter dance is not really teaching them that a woman should get this or a woman should be that. It may reinforce a great bond between us, but the way I treat you is going to tell them what a man should do to a woman.
Yes.
If I'm around here yelling at you or if I'm trying to hit you, that's what they're going to think is what love looks like to a woman and what they should deserve.
And I think that it's really important that you say that because, Juliet has a unique situation.
Absolutely.
To where she has her mom and then she comes here and she has you and she sees, she's with us.
Absolutely.
And so she gets a chance to see that, to see her dad in that space that maybe, most kids don't have the opportunity to see. So that's really good that you said that because it is important.
And it's something I would have loved to see when I was younger, to see how my dad got to navigate. I got to see it when I was older and I pieced it together like, oh, now I get what he's doing. All right, now this next one comes from a niece Marshall Glenn. Niece Boogie. She says, how important is it for fathers to show their children affection, especially the boys?
Very. I think that a lot of people come up, men, they come up thinking that it creates these soft kids to not show them, like hug them and, love on them. And I completely disagree with that wholeheartedly. I think that, all kids deserve to know what that looks like. Pick your kid up, hug him, give him a kiss, tell him you love him, let him cry. Cause you're teaching them that it's not okay for them to have emotion. It's not okay for them to feel things. And they're going to grow up confused and they're going to pass that on to their kids or their friends or whoever.
Right now, we suffer from, we don't know how to have affection.
No, you can't give a brother a hug or dap him up without him thinking that, hey, that's so. We were at the parade the other day and I seen this guy, somebody came up, this young kid came up and gave him a hug. And he was like, oh no, bro, we don't do that. You dap me up. Why can't he give you a hug?
Yeah.
It's like, come on.
We need more human contact. I firmly believe that. I think that as a people overall, we only learn how to touch each other in a sexual way, man. We don't know how to, there's a lot of power in a human touch. Ain't nothing wrong with hugging somebody, man.
The best gift you can give somebody is a hug or a smile.
Yeah.
And it's free.
Or even saying you love somebody. That's like, it's problematic these days, for men and maybe even women too. We have a problem telling each other that we love each other, until we gone, we get our flowers after we dead, So I agree with you. I think the affection thing is vital.
Yes, very vital.
I think that, boys need to learn at a young age. You can say you love somebody, that you can hug people, that there's nothing wrong with physical touch. We need to start divorcing intimacy away from sex. Sex is not the only way that intimacy occurs. People overall need intimacy with
Yes.
each other.
And you never know what a person is going through and what that hug could do for them.
Absolutely.
That smile, that, that kind word. We are still human.
Yeah.
And we still need to be able to have some humanism and not really kind of make our kids feel like they can't express themselves, because they just turn to other emotions.
That's true.
To express themselves, and that's just not fair to them.
My babe said humanism. Y'all got my babe throwing around the triple word scores on y'all. But no, I think it's really poignant. And I'll end it on this. I think for me personally, my dad, he was born in 1927, man, in Duncanville, Alabama. And they just didn't grow up like that. My dad was a really soft-spoken guy, very nice guy, very patient guy, but he wasn't all into physical intimacy and stuff like that. He wasn't going to embrace me. No hugs. I don't remember ever getting a hug from him except at my dad at my brother's funeral. And even then I'm kind of just blurrily guessing. I can't remember it.
Yeah.
But I remember the day he passed away. I laid on him. He was in the hospital bed, and I laid my head next to his on his pillow and just kind of put my arm around him, and it felt so good. And it never dawned on me that I really wanted that. It never crossed my mind till right then, right when it was too late. I was like, I want it. I didn't even know. Didn't even know. And I remember my stepmom looking down at me, and I think she realized, because she just kind of rubbed me on my back, And, it's just one of them things, man. So, I encourage everybody, man, to learn how to be courageous enough to love each other, man. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
No.
My grandma told me God is love. Love is God. So, ain't nothing wrong with love. Let God show. Let God run through us.
His light shine.
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that. So, on that note, I'm going to skip LS's other 43 questions. Because we are at our time limit, man. I really appreciate him.
This is a great show. Thank you so much, everyone, for your questions. We appreciate it.
Man, they were dope questions too, man.
They were really good questions. Thank you so much.
I know I sent it out last minute, but we had good feedback. Babe, I want to thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting me. This was fun.
See? You might even have your own podcast one day.
Hey, who knows?
Who knows?
What's next for the narrates? Who knows?
Who knows? So thank everybody for listening, man. I love this show. I had a ton of fun.
Wonderful show. Thank you.
And
so yeah, that was us. 5 years ago, 5 years younger, 5 years less experience. But I would think we actually, and we pretty similar, man. I think a lot of the things we say now, we were saying back then. I think God has just showed up and proven himself even more. A lot of the things that he was revealing, he revealed a little bit more to us now. But really good to go back and bring a lot of that thought. That was real raw. That was real deep and personal and vulnerable. So yeah, next week we'll be back. I don't know which topic we're going to hit. We got 2 on the slate. Either going to be sex matters in marriage, sex, or money matters in marriage, finances. We're going to hit one of the 2. Both of them are dope. Stay tuned with us right here on the Open Book Podcast, y'all. We love y'all. Peace. Yo, this beat, though, man.
It's all right, man. It's all right.
Hood friends, they don't stay good friends. We got no blueprint for this, but we got footprints. And he who finds a wife finds a good thing, the book says. Now we making music like whistling woodwinds. I feel we should 2-step, now we gon' hand dance. Etta James said better days to come at last. Walking down the aisle, now the sound of the pitter-pat. So well endowed though, we don't need Similac, just spitting facts. Us got a nice ring to it. Circle on your finger, white dress in the theme music. We don't keep no secrets though, we open books. We on the same team, we get that open look. And we don't close the chapter till we open the book. Ephesians is no to us, we supposed to look. But you know I was showing out till you showed up. You took me on a ride out of neutral, huh? You ready for the level up, it's mutual, huh? You ready for the level up? Let's level up. Water to my soil, baby, made me grow. Daily affirmations, yeah, you played your role. Before we had our love scene, I cleaned my act. And since we walked the aisle and never seen a mat, yeah, And these are facts you can co-sign. We's a whole vibe back when Quest was a whole tribe. Man, I stared you down when we met, like she's so fine. Whole time God had a plan in the whole nine. Like me and you on a ride till the wheels gone. And even after that, when we flying with wings on. When you need some help with the zip on your queen roll, and I need some help with the note that we're singing on, like glory, glory. Every open book got two stories, unfold like newspapers, true story. Queen's the best thing that happened to a king. She's the best thing that happened to that ring. We was a mess before we matched up with that ring. The wedding was a draft, now we run a killer team. Told you my dreams, first date out, flirting behind home plate. Queers just making out. You swung first pitch, said I was the one already. Your mama loved me, said I was a son already. I wasn't ready, first pitch curved in the air. I ran out in left field, thought I was a player, but you was not buying tickets to sit up in the stands, and you was not crying a river. Not over no man, and when you back I had to step up my hygiene. Started using truth paste cause I had that lie gene. Now we don't keep no secrets though, we open books. We on the same team, we get that open look. And we don't close the chapter till we open the book. Ephesians is no to us, we supposed to look. But you know I was showing out till you showed up. Show was, it sure was. Sure, yeah. Rock it out, nah. Yo, you gotta do that dance Michael Jackson did and rock with me. Y'all know what it is. Yeah, rock it out, yo. Yo. Snap your fingers. You gotta have your drink in one hand, snap the finger with the other. Yo, it's different when you got Tanqueray though. They even make that still? I don't even know. This was for you, babe. You know I was gonna send you one.